Hi, Jonathan York from Bay Financial Partners, looking at investment markets. Certainly August, for a change, really proved to be quite a decent month for global equity markets. Most markets were up between sort of 3 to 5% over the course of the month. That's going to be quite interesting because obviously the US will get a further sort of test of the state of the economy with the unemployment data coming out at the end of the week. That's really on the back of sort of some interesting data out there. Certainly in the polls, President Trump appears to be sort of gaining a little bit of lost ground. And that's really on the back of COVID cases that were sort of falling. And that's really on the back of COVID cases now, which were sort of averaging just under 40,000 new cases a day versus the sort of 60 odd thousand, which were 2 to 3 weeks ago. However, as we started to see a lot of the universities and schools going back, that figure started to now tick up. Certainly a lot of the universities now are seeing some pretty high infection rates going through. One of the universities had only been back a week and already had over a 10% positive testing case. Now that's obviously not good news for President Trump and the administration. Also as well, you've still got quite a bit of civil unrest, most notably in Portland. Worthwhile just keeping an eye on the dollar as well. Dollar's sort of getting increasingly weaker out there. Also as well, obviously gold is sort of strengthening there as a bit of a sort of hedge against a weak US dollar. Gold is just under $2,000. Globally, a bit of a milestone for COVID, over 25 million cases. Of those cases, though, 16.5 million have recovered. But also as well, a pretty grim milestone, over 800,000 deaths. The sort of re-emergence of cases is sort of being carried through into Europe as well. Certainly those borders have opened up. You've seen an increase in cases, most notably in France and Spain. In the UK, so far, cases still seem to be on the sort of decline, but it's going to be very interesting over the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks as schools reopen after pretty much a 6-month layoff. Most kids in the UK haven't been to school for 6 months. So going back to school after that will be very interesting to see how it sort of plays through on the cases. Likewise, Australia, again, they seem to be getting on top of the infection cases out there. So the number of new cases coming through is starting to fall quite dramatically. Although as yet, there's still no date for the reopening of the borders between Victoria and New South Wales, and obviously the reopening of Melbourne, which is pretty much in lockdown. Now, obviously, with the renewed economic activity out there, oil is sort of holding a pretty decent bid. Currently trading around 43 bucks and change for WTI. Here in New Zealand, the big news is that Auckland has come out of level 3 and it's gone down to sort of a level sort of like 2.5, if you like, where the borders are sort of reopened again. You're allowed to travel to and from Auckland, but public meetings in Auckland now and gatherings are limited to 10 people. Whereas the rest of the country is limited to 100 people, at present under level 2. Though again, still quite interesting. Cases are still on the increase in New Zealand. You're still having that sort of stubborn between sort of 5 to 15 sort of cases a day coming through, and it's just going to be very interesting to see how that sort of transpires now over the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks once this Auckland border is reopened. Because certainly reopening of the Auckland borders really has a pretty major impact on the rest of the country, certainly for travel and sort of tourism and adventure activities. Really need that boost from the Auckland population. Now obviously Mercury have a green bond in the marketplace, 7 years. Rate hasn't been set yet, but indicative rate is sort of 1.63 to 1.83. Now if you're interested in that, call us on 0800 867 323. Also, potentially Somerset might have a bond as well. That will be a sort of a 7-year fix as well. That's sort of potentially in the offering at present. Obviously, if you are looking for income in this low interest rate environment, there are quite a few alternatives out there, some pretty decent dividend shares, dividend stocks, etc. Call us at 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.